You're live with David Eads on BBC World News. A key player in President Trump's alleged effort to pressure Ukraine for dirt on his political rival is due to face the impeachment inquiry. Gordon Sondland, the US ambassador to the EU, is thought to have been a critical part in the president's demands that Ukraine investigate his rival Joe Biden. Also, a former employee at Britain's consulate in Hong Kong says he was tortured by the Chinese as they interrogated him over the Hong Kong protests.
I've been shackled, I've been handcuffed, and I've been blindfolded, and also they made me hooted.
Also dealing with deforestation in the Amazon rainforest, Brazil's environment minister holds urgent talks. They're aimed at clamping down on illegal logging and land grabs. Well, a big enough week in the impeachment inquiry into President Trump, but a big day today. The Democrats are hoping that the testimony provided by the US ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, could be something of a turning point. Mr. Sondland's due on the stand in about an hour and a half from now, and his testimony could be explosive because he has changed what he told the congressional investigation, which could lead to the US president's removal from office. So let's find out a little bit about who he is. Gordon Sondland, as I said, US ambassador to the European Union, appointed just in June of last year. He is a wealthy hotelier from Seattle. He's also a big fundraiser for Mr. Trump. It was prior to that. Relatively unknown until, though, that moment that he revised his testimony. The US envoy previously denied any politically motivated aid freeze on Ukraine. Now he says, though, he does remember telling a Ukrainian official that the resumption of US aid would likely not occur until Ukraine provided the public anti-corruption statement that they've been discussing for many weeks. That's the investigation into Mr. Biden and his son. Well, Mr. Trump denies withholding $400 million in aid to prod Ukraine into that investigation into Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, his son, was on the board of a Ukrainian energy company called Burisma. That's the background. Let's get the foreground. We can go live to Atlanta now. Julia Manchester covers US politics for the newspaper The Hill. Julia, great to see you. I suppose the excitement is that some people see this guy as, well, maybe a bit flaky.
Absolutely a bit flaky. He's already changed his testimony, at first, trying to distance himself from all of this, saying he wasn't aware of any investigations that President Trump was talking about or of any aid withheld. And then he quickly flipped on that. So today, when he testifies before Republicans and Democrats, they're going to have a lot of questions for him. And I think he's definitely probably going to be put on the defensive by both sides in this, because they really want to get, at the root of what he knows. It was interesting in yesterday's impeachment inquiry, we saw those eyewitnesses, Volker and Morrison, testify for the first time and essentially said that Sondland knew that they believed that, and they had reason to believe that Sondland knew of investigations that President Trump was trying to push for into Ukraine. We saw former aide to Vice President Mike Pence say that she was concerned that there seemed to be this interest from President Trump in getting Ukraine to investigate a domestic political opponent. So another blockbuster day on Capitol Hill right now, but you're going to see Republicans and Democrats really going after Sondland because he has been so flaky, and I think they both really want to get at the truth of the matter, or try to get to the truth of the matter, and try to spin this in their own favor.
Yeah, Julie, can I ask you, you're in Atlanta, you're there for a very good reason, of course, which is the leading campaign is trying to get the nomination for the Democrats, right to challenge Donald Trump. They have a key televised debate, of course, this evening. How much does all this in the background affect Joe Biden? Here he is. He's the big I am, the guy who's leading the polls by and large for the Democrats. But all the time in the background he is a reference point to this whole impeachment hearing.
Well, it's interesting, David. I was in Ohio during the last Democratic debate, the fourth one that we've had so far in this primary season. And Joe Biden, that was the first debate where he was really answering a lot of questions as to his connection to this and how he was going to react. We haven't seen any of his opponents in the primary field attack him for this, because that would essentially mean they would be siding with President Trump. But I think it definitely feeds into this broader narrative in the United States and this broader feeling among Americans that there's such a fatigue over these investigations happening on Capitol Hill. And now that's bleeding into onto the campaign trail, because Joe Biden, the front runner, really is in the middle of it. I think it could potentially play poorly for him, because even though he's trying to distance himself from this and really talk about kitchen table issues such as healthcare and improving the economy, he's still seen as a key player. And I'm wondering if that maybe ties him further to the Washington establishment and doesn't make him seem so relatable to the American people who really just are really focused on kitchen table issues, like I said before, healthcare and the economy and issues like that. But one interesting point.
Have to be a quick one.
Oh, yeah, very quick. There's a number of senators on this debate stage tonight that may have to leave the campaign trail at some point once this impeachment inquiry, if it does go into the Senate. So that'll be very interesting to watch.
We look out for that too. Julia, thank you very much indeed. Good to have you on the programme. Julia Manchester in Atlanta there. Right, let's move on to other issues, business and the environment. Ben.
Yeah.